Here's Bass, good from 51, this from 20, and he's got it in there. If they had gone for it and failed, it would have been devastating with this 21-point quarter run by Kansas City.
WNYwatercooler.com.
WNYwatercooler.com.
Would have been devastating, 21-point quarter run.
You're a clown, Steve. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of you wasting our time on the air with your clown shoe garbage. Tired of it. Michael might want to entertain it. I'm tired with it. Lose the number, Steve. Tired of it.
Coast! Shut up! Just shut up for a second.
Look, Snail, back off, because you're just mashing it now.
You guys act like it's... Pick it up a little bit. Okay? Get your chin up. Smile. Smile. Okay? Dang, you guys, all right? If not, I'm not talking. Let's get rolling.
Welcome back. WNYwatercooler.com podcast. Look for us on iTunes and on Spotify, YouTube. We got Coast online. I'm Steve.
We're on Spotify? Nice.
Someone told me that, yeah.
Oh, that's huge. Hi. Steve,
expanding our footprint.
Never
better. It was a great game for me on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. You got to be in your glory right now.
It was such a strange game. I was going somewhere to watch it with some people, so I missed like the first 2 minutes, and then it just seemed like the game never really started. And then I'm watching it, and I'm just like waiting, like everyone, just waiting. Okay, we're gonna score. Jacksonville's doing nothing, although we're not really doing anything either. And then it just ends. It's like, what?
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way watching it, that we were just going to eventually, just like the Miami game, where I was never really nervous. I just felt that at some point we were just going to score, and that was going to be enough. And it just didn't happen in this game. I mean, there's just so much to talk about and so much to be mad about. And for a team with this much talent, the amount of talent that they have, this type of game is, in my opinion, it's inexcusable. They didn't even have to show up to beat that team. Like, they worse than no show.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's sad that I'm pointing to, like, a Beasley drop, which was like an easy 20-yard gain, and like that was the only big play of the game that like they didn't make. It was just like Allen panicking and leaving the pocket and then just throwing it away. Like, there wasn't any one play other than that Beasley drop that... Did we even throw the ball, like, down the field once?
No, we had the longest throw the ball in the air was probably 20 yards. I mean, there was a third and 22 play where Allen hit Sanders, I believe, for like 22 yards. And that was probably the farthest we threw the ball. But I spent a lot of time thinking about this and Allen's performance, and obviously he wasn't great, but I've decided that I comfortably give him 0% of the blame in this game. I have never seen, you have to admit, and you have to agree with this, that might have been the single worst performance by a supporting cast of an NFL offense between the running backs and the offensive line that you have ever witnessed in your entire life. And yeah, the Allen hero ball, when he realizes, like, the only way I have to do everything. I have to run it. I have to pass it. I basically have to block these guys and throw at the same time. He tries to do it all. Yeah, that's when he makes mistakes. But there's so much. It's so easy to say, "Oh, Allen played like shit." That's like the simple way of looking at it. That is the least of our problems on offense right now. Is Josh Allen the least of our problems?
Well, I mean, it's things I've been saying for a while. Why we didn't get a better backup tight end? We knew that Knox was going to be out a couple weeks, and all we do is we just bring up this dickhead from Boston College that's never fucking done anything, and like Gilliam, I didn't see him out there. The running backs we knew were not good. we bench Moss the 1 week, and that like seemingly cost us, and then we don't. Where's Matt Breida? Where's the Williams dude? I don't understand the running backs and the tight end, and then we don't use Gabe Davis either.
Well, the tight end, if your tight end is going to be a significant part of your offense, where you lose your starter and it's like a big deal, I agree. How do you not have a contingency plan? You can't go into the season with one guy thinking he's going to play 17 games. I mean, that's ludicrous. And, I mean, maybe Sweeney's a young guy who's barely played. But still, have another, like, veteran in there. But it's hard to find a guy with the athletic ability that Knox has that can stretch the middle of the field and, you know, maybe make those backers drop. I don't know. But you're right. In the backs, I mean, I texted you guys this a few times this week. 65 plays, we handed it off 9 times in a 9-6 game. At least one of those were give-up plays on 3rd and 21 or something at the end of the half and gave it to Moss. How are you supposed to run the ball effectively when you're, like, literally what you're doing isn't working and you just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it? It's like the definition of insanity. What we were doing wasn't working, and we just were running it back out there again and again and again. This is the NFL. You got to be able to run the football in the NFL. I don't care what anyone says. You and I have been talking about it for 2 years. You can't be one-dimensional. This isn't the SEC. This isn't Alabama. These teams catch on to what you're going to do, and if you don't fix it, and if you don't have any adjustment you can make, you're screwed. Look at Kansas City. Probably the greatest talented quarterback and wide receiver and tight end combination in the history of the league. Guess what? They've been figured out, and they have no backup plan. It's infuriating.
Yeah.
How do you run 9 runs in 65 plays in a 9-6 game? It should have been like 35 runs and 30 passes.
Jesus, fired up. I mean, I'm not even that mad because it just shows the one thing that McDermott defenders always had was, well, we get up for every game. We never have like that colossal bad loss, and that's gone. I mean, the Bills are Super Bowl favorites, betting favorites. Yeah, because we have an easy schedule. We'll probably walk to the division. Although, I mean, the Patriots now, I mean, that might not be the case. But I never bought into us being like this dead-on favorite to be in the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl. And McDermott, how can you come out to Jacksonville and put up 6 points? I mean, it's disgraceful.
I don't even blame. I don't know. I don't really blame McDermott either. I don't think they didn't show up. I think they had no answer on offense. I think the guys were trying. I just think that they had no answer. They have no answer right now.
We got rattled on the first drive, like all those personal foul penalties, and I was
for calling them on the wrong team. That was a mess.
The game just it seemed like it was like because I was listening to the first couple minutes on the radio, and it seemed like a radio only game, just like this backwards game that like is not even existing. It was such a strange feeling, like Bills Jacksonville 9-6. Like it's like a joke, like a game from like 50 years ago.
Yeah, it was. The start of the game was so chaotic, and the refs had no clue what was going on. And I mean, quick sidebar: the officiating this season, and I feel like it's been in most of the Bills games. I mean, the number of flags that are thrown. Yeah, we had like 12 for 120 or something against the Jags, which screwed us on numerous occasions. I mean, not with all the issues we're having on offense, it doesn't help when you have 1st and 20, 2nd and 25 every drive either. But the number of flags is just out of hand.
And like we were sharing the links of that one. They called it. It was 4th down, 4th and 2 or 3, and they threw the flag, and it looked like Jacksonville jumped, and I yelled free 1st down, and then they come out and say the Bills moved. I watched that play in slow motion 5, 6, 7 times. Yeah. I did not know who moved for the Bills. There's no way these refs could possibly have seen that.
Yeah, when you like slow it down, Ike in the comments, people were saying in the comments in that tweet where Ike like moved his like left like leg a tiny bit, but it was like bang bang, like he barely moved, and that Jags guy jumped like across the line of scrimmage, and I agree. Like, how... I don't know how you can see Butker move in real time. There's just, like, no... I don't know. That, to me, at the time, I thought it was horrible, and even in hindsight, it's like, I cannot believe that they somehow, like, made that call.
And the
I just couldn't
broadcast,
believe it.
yeah, the broadcast of the game, they're not showing replays of half the shit that's happening. It just seemed like this game was happening in a cornfield 50 years ago, and there's only some guy up in a booth on a radio call. It was just such a bizarre, strange game.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that we can look back on this eventually and kind of be like, wow, that was a weird game. Like, you know, when we're finishing the season 12.
Well, they better.
Like,
We better be able to. But I think maybe this is a bit of a wake-up call. I mean, these teams like Kansas City, like they just get smoke blown up their asses nonstop. Oh, they're great, they're unstoppable, and they just came into it thinking, okay, it's Jacksonville. Maybe we don't have to try as hard. We'll score 25 points. They're not going to score that much. And I mean, Lawrence got hurt, so he couldn't even do anything, and we just didn't respond. It was,
Lawrence got hurt. They bring in Beathard, who like completes a like a third and long. He like just threw it up. I don't know. It was such a weird play. The receiver like somehow caught it. You remember that play?
yeah, I thought it was going to be intercepted. It was like a duck.
I don't remember if they like converted that into a field goal or not. But anyways, yeah. But
no, that's where they missed the guy. The guy who ended he missed 3 in a row, and I was trying to leave. I was trying to leave where I was at halftime and go somewhere else, and it's just like miss. All right, let's go. Wait, flag or timeout. Miss flag. Like it's just. I'm like, well, what am I watching? And that guy comes out later in the game and drains a 55-yarder after, or maybe that was actually earlier. He drained the 55-yarder.
55-yarder was earlier.
Yeah, it was earlier.
That was. I think there was one. That was the play where
McDermott
I texted you guys, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll admit, I disagree with McDermott. If you're playing like, you know, if we're playing a team with a really good team, I may say, okay, it's 4th down, and you know, either kick the long field or go for it, versus giving the team like a 3rd and 15. But the odds the Jags pick up like, I can't remember if it was a 5 or 10-yard play.
It was a 10-yard penalty. Yeah, it was a holding call.
The odds the Jags pick up that 10 yards are, like, to me, very slim. So I thought that it would have been in their best interest to accept that one and make them run the 3rd and 15 or whatever it would have been and take your chances. But
I think he thought that they were 38-yard line. He probably didn't think they were going to kick the field goal and make it, is my guess. I kind of lost track of where they were on the field. So I just was like, okay, yeah, they'll punt it, and then they kick the field goal and it goes in. But
yeah, I just think that if we knew that kicker could kick a 55-yarder, we should have accepted it. But I don't know. The fact that it shouldn't even matter.
Yeah, a 55-yard field goal really shouldn't matter when you're playing.
He scored 9 points in the game. I don't have any energy to criticize. Well, I mean, that's not really the defense. That's a coaching decision, but I have no energy to criticize the defense. I'm so stuck on the offense, and I don't know where to go because I just don't think we have the horses, and I don't think we have the offensive coaching to turn this around. I really don't. I think to make an adjustment, the drastic adjustment that we need to make mid-season at this point, to me, seems a little bit far-fetched, given the talent that we have at running back. I mean, unless like Spencer Brown, I think it's possible that Spencer Brown, and Dawson Knox really are huge factors. Because Darrell Williams, on that 3rd and 7 at the end of the game, I think I sent it to you guys. Dude, 3rd and 7 at the end of the game.
He didn't. He was like sitting on a chair.
He didn't even move until the DN was around him.
Yeah, he was sitting at a chair on a desk, like signing the last paycheck he had, and forgot to play. It was very. Yeah, he didn't. He was way off. And they said that there wasn't an issue with the snap count. Well, then that guy needs to be off the field.
No one else had a problem.
But you love this roller coaster ride of up and down. Just one point I heard, like we had a rough patch of offense last year. We scored 3 straight games, 16, 17, and 18 points against against 3 bad defenses: Chiefs, Titans, and Jets.
Well, yep.
So I mean, you're freaking out like, oh, we don't have the horses or the offensive I mean, maybe Dayball can't really change it up, but I'm guessing he's capable of doing that. How am I the positive one? This is weird.
Well, the difference last year was that the Titans game was weird. I threw that one out. This is my thinking at the time. Titans game was weird. I threw it out. The COVID crap, it was just a strange game. Chiefs game was in like sideways range. And the Jets game, if you remember, we didn't score a touchdown in that game. We had 6 field goals, but we also didn't punt. We had like 400-something yards of offense. We didn't punt once, but we just didn't score a touchdown. So I was like, it was weird. Like we had moved the ball up and down the field, no problem. But for some reason we were stalling out. This Jags game, we had 1 red zone appearance, I think. 1. I think, and
Yeah,
like we
one.
were marching up and down the field. From the beginning of the game, everything seemed so labored. Like everything was so difficult. The interior offensive line was getting blown up from the opening snap. Allen guys were in his face. I saw some clips of, Allen should have made this play, this. Like, should have hit Diggs on this hitch. The friggin' bunker was like in his grill after 1 second.
Yeah, he didn't have any time to throw. But so then, I mean, you gotta try something different. I feel like they didn't really
That's
try
what I'm
it.
saying.
I mean, like some delayed handoffs, like some draws, something.
The defensive line can just pin their ears back and rush the passer every play. They don't have to think about much about anything else. It's so obvious that you need to be able to run the ball or be able to have a threat to run the ball in this league. And I don't know. I guess we really just thought we had better. I don't know, man. I really just had no idea. I don't know what the problem is. I think it's scheme. I think it's philosophy. I think Dable just wants to coach us like we're playing Vanderbilt, and this is not the case.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one game. Maybe, I mean, Jacksonville, maybe they're not that bad. I mean, they have players on
No,
defense.
they're bad.
Their secondary is really injured. So but if you can't get the ball into the secondary, you can't really take advantage of that. Their front seven manhandled us. I mean, up and down the field. And again, yeah, Spencer Brown's hurt. I mean, the guy's a rookie. He's only played a few games. How could he be such an integral part of this offensive line that should have been practicing and playing since July? It's very strange. And yeah, they moved Williams in. They moved him to right tackle or right guard, and he's just completely horrible. Even Dawkins was bad.
If Williams is getting lit up at right tackle, why can't you move him to guard and just try someone else at tackle? Try Doyle or the other. I forget his name. It doesn't matter. Just try something.
Yeah, this Jets game
It wasn't working.
The Jets game from last year is weird. It was 10-0 Jets.
Yeah.
And then we kicked 53-yard, 48-yard, 46-yard, 37, 29, 40-yard field goal. Allen had over 300 yards passing.
Yeah.
And Darnold had 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
And somehow Darnold was 12 of 23, 120 yards, 2 picks, 6 sacks.
Huh?
Did their punter have a really good day or something?
We just all I remember from that game is us moving the ball up and down the field at will until we got to the 20, and then just stalling every time.
Because we didn't have close kicks. I mean, a couple of them.
I mean, we had a call a 50-yarder. I mean, if you have a 40-something yarder, you're stalling in between the 20 and 30. It's all right. We got it around the 30-ish on it, and we just would stall and kick a field goal. But you're right, it was 10-0, and but it just didn't feel. It just felt different. That game, we moved the ball pretty easily. We just haven't been. We really haven't been. That Miami game.
Yeah, we didn't punt. We didn't punt in that game.
Yeah, we didn't punt. It was the first time, ever. I don't know, ever, but in a really long
18
time where a
points.
team didn't punt or didn't
I
score a
remember that
touchdown.
now. Yeah, no punts and no touchdowns.
Yeah.
Well, that's not making me feel too good about this week's game. Jesus.
We haven't scored a touchdown in Jacksonville in 8 quarters.
Jesus. Yeah, and that's a house of horrors for McDerr, getting out coached by 2 guys that won't be head coaches in a couple of weeks. Jesus, bologna and herb. That's wow. I can't wait to go to New England in the playoffs. Yeah, that'll be a fun game for us, I'm sure.
So we're still easily the favorites to win the conference, which I thought was very surprising. We're like plus 260, and then the second team is like plus 4 something.
I don't get why no one believes in the Titans. I mean, what can they do?
Well, so look at the box score in the Titans Rams game. I think the yardage was. I think the Titans had like 100 something yards of offense.
Yeah, because they got a turnover. They got a turnover inside the 10 and scored an easy touchdown, and then
Yeah, that shit's that stuff. That's lucky. I mean, that's not. So I think that there's still a lot of doubt what they can do without Henry, but they win these games. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I would not have had the Bills as the favorite in the AFC. I'll tell you that much right now. Right now, I definitely wouldn't.
oh yeah. I mean, and then you have the Ravens who they've won what 3 or 4 games in overtime already. Like
I think they have 3 overtime wins and then that 68-yarder win.
yeah, so
Or something. They beat the Chiefs by 1 point. Like they've, I mean, they've won all the games that are like 50-50. They've won.
yeah, and I mean
And that Lions game isn't 50-50.
yeah, so they come back in the fourth quarter or second half in all these games, but I mean, why are they down so bad to all these teams? Like they're not beating like the best teams in the league either. Like the Vikings, Lions. I mean, even the Chiefs. That was a close, like you said, a 1 point game. I think the whole conference is weird. There's like 8 teams that have 5 wins or more. Like the Steelers keep rattling off these wins. Don't you?
Well, we talked about it, man. We talked about it last week. Pittsburgh and New England, they're obviously super well coached teams. They're not going to blow. Like, neither of those teams are going to lose to Jacksonville. I can't see New England. I mean, New England did almost lose to Houston.
Didn't
Maybe I
they?
shouldn't say that.
Yeah, they lost to the Dolphins and the Saints.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just feel like they're just.
I think the NFL just is. There's no more home field advantage, and the referees are just. It's every single game. So I mean, it goes one way one game, and it goes the other way the other game, and it just these games are just so like muddled. Like I have all these teasers last week. All 3 teams lose 10-point teasers. All 3 lose outright. Like
Yeah, I mean maybe we were due for one of these. I mean, the whole McDermott era since we've been like good, we haven't lost a game like to a bad team. Like
yeah,
every game we've lost, we've probably been like underdogs for or not huge favorites. I mean, Tennessee and Pittsburgh, we were probably favored by 5 or 6 in both of those games. But it's not like those are, that's not Jacksonville. So we were maybe due for a clunker like this. And the writing was sort of on the wall. You could kind of feel it brewing with that Miami game, especially that Miami game. Just like, but then I feel like our offense, didn't look great. And in at times in other games, we're still winning by 30.
but yeah. So I mean, the Dolphins game, the Dolphins secondary was healthy. So that was like their season basically. They lose that game, the season's over, and I mean now it is. And Tua just always gets hurt against us. But
Yeah, I know he does.
if he doesn't always get hurt against us, maybe they have a chance. But
First half we saw. Second half we played well against Miami. All around, solid second half. It's like okay, maybe we figured some stuff out. But what did we do in that second half? We threw the ball to Beasley like 20 times. And is that going to be our answer? Well, because guess what? It didn't work last week. And if you're throwing the ball to Cole Beasley at the line of scrimmage like 5 times,
yeah, he had 7 catches for 26 yards at one point. I don't think he may have only had 1 catch in the second half.
He had, he might have had 1 reception in the second half, but he didn't even really play. I don't know if he played. I thought I saw that he didn't play.
Well, he has ribs. Yeah, he hurt his ribs. But why don't we throw the ball into the end zone? I mean, we were only in the red zone 1 time, but we throw that ball to Moss. I mean, he again panic boy. Joshy Poo rolls to his right, and I mean, the whole game plan didn't make any sense. But
Beasley's not great. Like he's not a good yak guy. So why are we throwing to him the ball at the line of scrimmage? Like every freaking play.
Yeah.
That was clearly their game plan to combat this too high zone, whatever you want to call it that these teams are doing, was to get it to Beasley, who's not the best yak guy.
Yeah, he catches the ball and goes down or turns around and yeah. But
and it worked. It worked for a half against Miami, and it's like Dave was like, "Oh, we figured it out. No team's gonna watch this film." I just
someone needs to start driving Gabe Davis to church every week so that he could get back on McDermott's good side. What did this guy do? I mean, he didn't say enough Hail Marys or the Rosary enough times to not play?
Well, I think that I'm ready to see something. They were talking on the radio on Monday about, Bulldog was talking about signing Beckham and moving Sanders to the slot and basically putting Beasley on the pine. And I still like Beasley. He can get open. But we need to change something up. Maybe we put Dave Davis out there out wide and then let Diggs and Sanders take some slot reps and just just change it up a little bit. Maybe Dave needs to see more action.
Maybe. Huh. Maybe.
Well, who are you taking off the field? I mean, you got to sit. So you sit.
Sweeney's not lining up in the box blocking. He was split out wide or in the slot or whatever. He's the third receiver out there a few times at least. I mean, Manny Sanders has to be on the field. Beasley has to be on. These guys. I mean, they're all interchangeable to me. I mean,
Sanders is just way faster and more dynamic than Beasley, I guess.
yeah, but
I don't know.
I mean, Gabe Davis just scores touchdowns. He made big plays all year last year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Put Davis in, but I would sit Beasley before I sat Sanders.
Well,
I just don't think that I don't think that our correction, our way out of this funk is Cole Beasley. That's all I'm saying. I just don't think that's the solution, and that seemed to be what they thought the solution to this whole thing was.
Well, the solution is throw it to Diggs 25 times. I mean,
yeah. Why are we doing that?
It doesn't seem too complicated to me. I don't want Odell Beckham. I mean, when was the last time the guy was good? 2017? I mean, yeah.
No,
he
I don't want
Baker.
him either. It was just the idea of moving Diggs or moving Sanders to the slot.
Yeah, changing it around. But I kind of want Beckham to go to the Patriots and just kind of torpedo them. I mean, the guy,
I agree.
is he really going to flip the switch and be like, oh, gee willikers, I'm a great teammate now. Let's go win. He's not going to do that.
Yeah.
He wants to get paid next year. How are you going to get paid? You got to put up stats. Mac Jones is going to do that?
Yeah, I'm sure he would be so happy coming in and being a piece to a running. I want to run the ball first and throw to tight end offense.
Yeah, he's going to go out there and block.
And now I thought I heard that the Saints might be the front runners for him now because he wanted to go to Green Bay, but Green Bay was only offering the veteran minimum. So he's going to go to the Saints and play with Simeon.
Well, they said it's going to take a few days for him to decide. I just decide. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear about this guy. Well, no, he's going to either take less or take more. I mean, it's a big decision for him. But,
he's irrelevant.
Yeah.
In the league, I couldn't care less about Beckham. If he goes to New England, it doesn't change my opinion whatsoever about New England. I'm scared of New England because of Belichick, because they play good defense, and because they're running the ball with 3 running backs, and they're controlling the game, and that's how they're going to win. That's how they win games.
And their defense scores a touchdown every goddamn week. Every week.
Yeah, they scored one against the Chargers, scored one against Carolina, and these games are low scoring, all their games.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's why this offense better get going. I mean, that Monday night game, I mean, holy cow. I might have to take 2 weeks off to prepare for that one.
Yeah, I'm still hopeful that game is we're 3 games up at that point, but it's probably unlikely now.
Well, this Jacksonville loss just that could come back to haunt us. I don't know. I mean, this Jets game, the line is down to 12 now. I
still saw 13. I don't know where you guys are seeing 12.
Well, I mean, we look at this stuff all day. We're not that busy, but Mike White.
I just looked. White moved the line probably a point.
Yeah, Mike White. I mean, I don't know, the guy, he's like a gunslinger or something. He goes out there with a reckless abandon, but last week he hurt his arm and didn't go back in. I mean, Mike White, you're Mike White. You gotta take every advantage you can, dude. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, he couldn't grip the ball because he had nerve. I don't know either. But he kind of reminds me. I was kind of thinking about this today when we played San Francisco last year. Probably thought of it because of Salah, but who's that quarterback that started for them?
for who? Niners?
San Francisco last year. When we
Beathard.
played them.
Wasn't it Beathard again?
No, it was God damn it. But whoever the quarterback was in that game, he had thrown for like a ton of yards. They produced the backup, threw for a ton of yards. It was like, oh, this guy, he can sling it, and we just murdered them. And I'm hoping that it's a similar type situation that White comes in. Didn't he come in relief for Wilson that first game? And he threw for 400 yards? Like, he didn't start, right?
Yeah, he came in. I think he had 2 games in a row that were big.
Well, I can't remember now. I thought he came in relief. But we have a full week to game plan for this guy. I don't expect Mike White to beat us.
Well,
So,
I didn't expect the Jags to beat us either.
well,
The line being 12, I wouldn't bet on the Bills. I mean, I wouldn't bet on the Bills minus 7.5 in this game. I mean, I'm not scared of their coach. For some reason, people love this coach. What is the documentation showing that this guy's a good coach? I don't get it. I haven't seen anything from the Jets at all that this guy's like coaching them up or something. But
they had 2 good wins.
yeah, I guess. But they lost to the Patriots by like 75 points in their 2 games.
Oh, yeah, they've gotten destroyed in a couple losses. The Colts murdered them. The Colts had 260 yards rushing. And I had thought earlier in the season that, the Jets went pretty good against the run, but 260 yards rushing allowed to Indy. And in the beginning of that game, Hines was running all over.
Yeah, Hines had a big game against them last week.
So,
And Taylor ripped off that long run, but he was still gashing them the whole game too. So, I mean, does that mean we're going to try and run the ball? I mean, put Tonio Williams out there, let that guy tote?
I would do something different. I mean, if Moss is out, I don't know. I mean, you probably are. Tonio's probably not playing, but you're activating Breida, who last time Breida played, I was so pissed. But I don't know why you're canning. The purpose of Breida is change the pace, catch passes, he's fast. Not to give him the ball on 3rd and 1 with the game on the line.
Well, yeah, but Moss hasn't impressed me this year either. I don't know.
I think he's good. I think he's a good receiver. And I think he is better than Singletary. And Singletary, every time Singletary runs the ball, I'm afraid he's going to fumble.
Well, yeah, Singletary seems like he wants to fumble every time, and he seems like he misses the cut or something every time. Like he could break it for more and doesn't. Like seemingly every time.
He's just not. He's not fast. Every game it seems like Singletary gets a little bit slower. He's still elusive and can make one a guy miss here or there, but he's not to me. He's just not a dynamic running back, and we just don't have. We just don't have one.
Nick Mullins.
What?
Nick Mullins, that was the quarterback.
Yeah, Mullins. He feels kind of like Mike White to me. He threw for a ton of yards some games last year, and kind of I don't know. I had the same sort of is this guy really going to light us up feeling?
Well, he's not going to light us up, but I mean, are we going to be able to score? I mean, who knows? This guy could put up yardage. I don't know if he's going to be able to score a bunch of touchdowns. Our defense is still playing pretty much lights out. I mean, Jacksonville has a bad offense, but they only scored 9 points. I mean, after all those turnovers, I mean, Joshie Poo, I don't know if he's colorblind or if he doesn't know how to play quarterback, but he didn't really show it last week. I know that.
Dude, he had the full burden of the team. And I know you're paying him a lot of money. I get that.
A real lot.
People argument you gave him this contract. You got to win that game. It's just the dumbest. People are too dumb to give the game any sort of critical thought.
Why doesn't he?
Allen.
Why doesn't he take a snap under center? Why was he always in shotgun? Where's this 2-step throw the ball out? Why has he got to be all the way back there, running the opposite field,
They're practicing. Apparently today they were practicing under center. I'm like, practicing under center? Isn't that just like football? Like, it was
Not for
like,
this guy.
Headline news that we were like practicing with Allen under center. I'm like, what? What are we? What is?
Because
what
he plays like Deshaun Jackson returns punts. He runs backwards 20 yards to get 30 yards.
He doesn't do that very much anymore, man. He does not do that very much. The interception. There was one interception in that game that I was mad about. One out of the two. The one where he was getting sacked on 3rd and 15 and tried making a play. I felt bad for the guy. I'm like, I felt bad.
I felt bad for myself watching him play.
Well, me too. I felt bad watching the team play, but this.
For myself.
He's the one guy on our team that's like, he's doing everything in his power to try and do something.
Well, why is he fumbling all the time? I'll never get that.
Well, he fumbled once. He lost one fumble, right? One fumble. Let's not get overboard. He hasn't turned the ball over much this year at all.
Well, I mean, we've been playing against the dregs of humanity. I mean, it's not going to get any more difficult either, really. I mean, we're going
to a lot more difficult. Allen's like best games have been against Allen's. His two best games were probably Tennessee and Kansas City, maybe Washington, and those are actually our three probably best teams we've played this season.
Okay, got it. You like him? Yeah, I got it. You like Josh Allen? You think he's great? What's the prediction for this game?
I think he's the best quarterback in the league. I wouldn't trade him for anybody. I think he's everything you could ask for in a quarterback.
Him and Beathard really went toe to toe. They looked the exact same last week. But.
Lawrence? Oh, if I was a Jags fan, I would not. Do you think Jags fans are excited about that win?
Are there Jags fans? I don't think they really. Sure. I don't know. I mean, to be a Jacksonville Jaguars fan right now is just so depressing. I would just keep thinking about the Patriots AFC Championship game for like a decade. And I mean, get rid of Urban Meyer. They could be a pretty decent team. They need a couple of receivers, but Shark is hurt. I mean, I don't know.
I guess if you're going to win a game like that, you'd want it to be because like Lawrence looks good, not because.
Well, I guess, but I think this year's just basically a throwout year. It's
right. They just probably lost the chance. They probably just went back 3 spots in the draft.
Well,
anyways, prediction for the Jets. I think we're going to win, but I think it's going to be ugly. I think we're going to win 23 to 13.
Tim's boy, that rookie wide receiver, Moore. I think he's going to torch us. I don't know.
Torch us? Who's torched us this year? What are you basing that on?
Yeah, A.J. Brown's torched us. Did you watch that?
He's the only guy that torches us every time.
Well, we haven't played anyone this year. We're playing against Vanderbilt.
So Elijah Moore is somebody?
I don't know. He had a breakout. He broke out.
One good game in his career.
He broke
like
out of 6. Out of 6. Yeah, he broke.
I'm not afraid of Elijah Moore at all. If we lose, it's going to be because it's going to be like the Jags game.
Michael P. Ryan.
Our defense is solid. These bad teams are going to have a tough time. That's the one saving grace we got. Is I think these bad teams are going to have a tough time scoring on us. So we don't have to. The bar isn't super high for our offense.
Well, and they lost May. They have our boy Croft is out, or he's on the COVID-19 list. I don't know.
Mims is out.
Yeah, Mims is on that list too. I mean, this team is. I mean, you might be able to suit up for him if they. Oh, is there kicker on any list? I don't know, but I'm gonna say 14-10. The Bills will eke it out in the end.
How far have we? What did we say last? What was your prediction for the Jags game?
I think 40-10.
I said we're still the 4th highest scoring team in the league, even with a 6-point game.
Well, I took a bath last week, so
we still
got rinsed.
We still are but I don't know.
You sounded panicky. You sounded panicky at the beginning of this. I mean,
I am panicky. I don't see how we can pivot.
Have some green tea and relax.
It's been a rough week, man. That Jags game threw me for a loop. I did not see that in the realm of possibilities. I really did.
I didn't see us scoring 6 points, but
I didn't see his. I felt like there was 0%. I know it's the NFL. I thought the chance was 0% that we could ever lose the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I think we would have lost if something fluky happened, but nothing fluky happened. It's just we didn't play. If we had 9 players on the field the whole time, I would believe that. Someone's
we really
like,
needed. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we can lose if they score like 4 non-offensive touchdowns.
well, they score 3 field goals and we lose. Pathetic.
They didn't score a touchdown.
I'm gonna be hanging that one around.
Combined touchdowns.
Once we start rattling off L's, I'm gonna be hanging that Jacksonville L on McDermott's neck. I'm being polite in this one, but because it might have been a fluke, but I don't know. It could get ugly.
Well, if we lose to the Jets, I think it's gonna be like crisis mode. If we lose to the Jets and score like 12 points, David might get fired.
He won't get fired, but that's going to be the talk on GR. I mean, I might kind of root for that just to listen to the radio all week and as those assholes have to take all his calls.
Yeah, that would be a pure, the
Stingers.
sky will be falling, especially if Cleveland beats the Browns and we're like behind them.
Patriots beat the Browns, yeah.
If we lose to the Jets, the season's over. It's just over.
Jesus
I
Christ.
mean, it's over based on what our expectations are. Like, we're not.
What was our expectation?
7 seed and 9 and 8.
My expectation was a home playoff game. That was my only expectation. All right. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah,
Okay, it's gutter hope. All about my bills like Buffalo.
That's about it from Manager's Corner. Go fuck yourself and the fuck with your show coming up next.
We're going to the playoffs and you're going to take out one of our best players because you couldn't take a hit? That's a joke. That's an absolute joke is what it is.
Shit, I'm all about the bills like Thurman Thomas.
Where's the youth game? We need an L. We need an L against Houston. We need as many L's as we can pile up from now until the end of the season. We're not making a playoff.